Welcome, Leo. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Leo, happening on February the 1st. And this is amidst a couple of important planetary movements, particularly Saturn and Neptune, both entering into Aries. Saturn or Neptune already moved into Aries on the 27th of this month, January, and Saturn moved in on about mid-month, is moving in mid-month. However, in between those two is Uranus moving direct in the planet of Taurus. And this is a lot of the inspiration I'm feeling from this particular full moon. True, Leo I associate with naturally your ruling planet, the sun. And this to me is about your place in the world, where you belong. It also has to do with the embodiment of the joy and privilege of being alive. This is something you're able to communicate through your body, through your presence, through your personality. So this hinges very essentially on the idea that what we learn, what we awaken to, what we become conscious of, our enlightenment has to be embodied, has to be felt. We have to align our feelings and our sense of what the body tells us. So this is a very potent time for you. It's affecting your awareness, your understanding, and your perspective on the world on a day-to-day basis. I pulled for you the Six of Cups immediately, and this is talking about pleasant, positive childhood experiences for many of you, happy memories, even nostalgia. And this has a feeling of reconnecting either with someone that was and or is important in your life now and reconnecting to the joy of that connection. It also can be related to an experience, a gift, a natural talent you have, re-experiencing the joy, the invigoration, the nourishment, the attention that that gift supplies, not just to others and how you are able to make them feel, but it applies to you, how naturally something occurs in your life, a natural expression that just is joyful to exercise, and how this affects other people in your life. I'm going to read the Egyptian sacred animal, the goose, number 26. I've never pulled this one before, and I'm going to read from the guidebook naturally. And the key words are abundance and nourishment. A symbol of abundance connected with deities such as Geb and Amun, the goose is considered sacred in ancient Egypt. The goose represents prosperity and nourishment in the afterlife, essential for cosmic balance, serving as a bridge between humanity and the gods, both in earthly and heavenly worlds. Its appearance may advise you to embrace the richness of ideas and opportunities that come your way. As a symbol of wealth and opulence in the ancient Egyptian world, the goose invites you to embrace new ideas and opportunities with optimism, promoting beneficial and harmonious relationships, cultivating those that bring mutual benefit. Furthermore, as a sign of care and sustenance, it represents the importance of balancing diligent work with time for personal and spiritual nourishment. This is absolutely lovely energy that is really feeling like in alignment with this idea of inner balance, emotional balance that is helping you to resurrect or reconnect to the feeling of joy, pleasure in who you are and your authentic self. And from the soul's journey, I pull grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So this is taking me to a place where you are not only releasing aspects of yourself, that are have been a long and challenging struggle, ones that you are allowed to grieve, even if it's old beliefs in yourself that you know are no longer in alignment with who you are, or it does not serve you in your current life. Those feelings, those patterns, those activities, you are allowed to grieve. They do leave a resonance within you, a residue of sadness, of loss. Literally letting something go is a loss. This can also relate to a loved one, the loss of a loved one, perhaps someone who is now experiencing their last experiences of life, someone who is in the process of passing on. It can also be someone who has passed on, who you are experiencing and appreciating in new ways. Remember that when people pass from us, that doesn't end our relationship with them. We are still growing, we are still living, and our memories of them uh, reconstitute new growth for us. We see them, we appreciate them differently. We never notice that aspect, or in many ways, they become free to just be the part of us that we need them to be. And this is really a beautiful way of experiencing the loss and the liberation that those that have passed on may experience, and also the ways in which you are liberated from an old story that you perhaps is in part harmful or saddening to you. In the 10th house, we have the Lover's card. And this is really looking very specifically at relationships in general. And this is sort of telling me about the way that you learned what love is and how that has been transformed through your lived experiences of relationships. So I see you going through a healing process of looking at relationships as things that define you, to a place where you are understanding now that you define, you and others with whom you are in relationship with are defining, do define the relationships. It is an agreement. It is a contract. It's not something that one holds over another or holds someone else to. It's constantly being redefined as circumstances and situations shift. A relationship that began on one term shifts as those goals are accomplished, as in an employment contract, right? Or in an intimate relationship, as you perhaps experience someone over time, you recognize that the things that satisfied the relationship are no longer satisfying, and you need new goals and new ways in which you can support the growth of one another. Those are examples of the way the lovers are showing that you have moved to a place where you see relationships as part of deeper connections to your dreams, and a way to manifest with the support of another with whom you are mutually supportive to achieve dreams that are beyond you or others. In the first house, the Five of Cups is describing the sense of really wanting to change relationships in view of how you now understand them to be. It's interesting, you have the Five and Six of Cups and the Lover's card, which is in a higher arcana. It's not a water card per se, but relationships are all about fluid energies flowing back and forth, giving and receiving. So there's a way that you are looking at when relationships, including the relationship to yourself, was fluid, was balanced, was joyful, was satisfying, to things about your relationship history you would change, perhaps you reject, Perhaps you no longer want to feel rejection in your relationships, or you no longer want to give with the expectation that someone else is going to save you. Instead, you've turned your attention, or will shortly, to understanding that in order to build this relationship with self, that you must release relationships that didn't work. This is failures. This is disappointments in any area of life. Things that you invested in, believing this was the thing, this was the ticket, and coming to realize that, oh, you're in the same situation again, feeling betrayed, hurt, sad, a sense of loss, having given so much of yourself away and being taken for granted or taken advantage of. In the fourth house, the house of your foundation, the six of staffs, another six rather. We love sixes. They are not only about balance and harmony, giving and taking, reciprocal effort, mutual aid, but they're also in the center of the tree of life, the Zephyr, for beauty, for strength. This and that all links me to the planet of Venus, right? Venus is this balancing with others, this constantly looking for what is fair, what is just, what is equitable. The Six of Staff shows that there is some fundamental way in your home. It can be in your work, but certainly within your family where you are finding that balance. It feels to me like you are taking care of loved ones. This can be your role as a parent, your role as a child, taking care of parents. It can also be the way that you balance out the responsibilities of those with others. So if you, for instance, are taking care of a parent, you work with their doctors, their caretakers, their therapists, in order to identify the way to move forward that is best for the patient, that will increase their comfort and their ease. It also indicates that as a parent, for instance, this is a way that you work with your children, their teachers, their caregivers, identifying responsibilities that are appropriate to their age so that they too are engaged in their own growth and learning. They have a voice in the way that they are being raised in a way that is appropriate to them. So this shows that you are feeling very successful in your ability to collaborate and cooperate with others on behalf of the responsibilities that you take very seriously and that you approach very creatively on behalf of loved ones, your family, or your domestic environment, your home. In the seventh house, the World card. In your significant relationships, I see a lot of processing going on with all relationships, and it feels to me as though you've achieved something and to the end of closing it out. This necessarily can adhere to the responsibilities that you have for loved ones. In other words, you care for parents, you care for children, but that's towards the end. Everyone is growing. So you have accomplished something, you have achieved something in the care that you perform for others. Perhaps you're feeling positive about getting your kids to a place where they are thriving in school, for instance. They are beginning to identify roles or interests that they would like to pursue beyond life at home. You can also be supporting parents to end their lives comfortably or heal over some kind of a disease or health crisis. This is something that you're feeling you're being recognized for, and you're doing the best job possible. And that in and of itself is a phenomenal reward It can feel like the end of a long journey, no matter how quickly, certainly as a parent, this experience goes by. There's a deep sense of satisfaction that you've done your job, understanding that if you've done it well, you are preparing them and you are building a relationship with them that will continue to grow. And this initial phase was preparation for that lifelong, ongoing sense of uh, a healthy, productive relationship, one where you have modeled growth, accomplishment, achievement of some sort. Doesn't mean that you are a doctor and they're all going to be doctors or anything like that. It means whatever you love, you've devoted yourself to, and that is the model that has inspired their growth. That is what has taught them how to love, how to respect self. I don't know if I need to clarify these, but I'm going to anyway. And I'm going to start with the first house of Five of Cups and the World, a repeat card for the Five of Cups. For the Six of Staffs, I've got the Six of Swords. For the World card here, I have a Hierophant. And for the Six of Cups, or the Lovers, I have the Tower. This is really quite powerful. So I'm going to start here with the Five of Cups, the self-review. It feels like the process itself of looking at your failures and your disappointments has been closed out. You're finding closure here. You're no longer devoting the attention, the emotional exhaustion and investment in trying to understand what went wrong or what the model was that kept going awry, why you continue to pour yourself into relationships that were not quite likely possible to give back to you. This is something you've closed out. You have moved on and prepared yourself for building this new, more powerful relationship with yourself in a way that whether you get recognition from the world or not, you recognize what you've achieved here. You acknowledge yourself, and quite likely you are being acknowledged through better health, a clearer perspective, a more optimistic perspective about where you now can turn your attention with regard to where you belong in the world, your appropriate place. Perhaps it is not necessarily by the side of someone who is doing something out of alignment with your purpose or goals. So you're really turning your attention to who you are, your next adventure, knowing you're better prepared now to make a success of something you desire to achieve. The Six of Staffs is clarified by the Six of Swords. There's a strong feeling here of recovery. Someone else's recovery has facilitated your own. It doesn't mean that you are uh, uh, it doesn't mean that their recovery was akin to yours. It means your ability to help them to find some kind of recovery, some kind of relief, some peace, some acceptance of who they were and their own human limitations has helped you to see your prospects and possibilities in a different, more empowered way. They are modeling something for you in your ability to help them to find this path of relief, of peace. And this is fueling the sense of your own victory, your own possibility, your own dream, that life and the way that you've learned to love is not the only way. Perhaps for some of you, this has been difficult. This has been trying. This has been disruptive. There has been little for you to lean on, little for you to rely on. Perhaps others, loved ones, relied on you to do things that you would have expected they would be providing you. So this is not unlikely in the world, the real world. Many times we do parent our parents, and there's no crime or shame in that. It's a gift, it is a privilege, and I do believe you are receiving the gifts and the privileges of that ability to care for a loved one. In the seventh house of significant relationships, the World card is clarified by the Hierophant. Yeah, I feel like you've made this powerful commitment to your own growth, your own spiritual development. It may come in the form of your affiliation with an organization through some kind of work that you're doing, something educational, something about training or teaching that you're sharing with others, helping others get to a place perhaps that you have taken for granted in your own life, so that you understand that all that you have experienced and learned has given you a strong body of wisdom that you are willing now to share with others. There's some kind of gatekeeper role you may have. You may work in a school, for instance, or in an organization that administers some kind of a training or education program. You may be involved in the recertification or the certification of others who are trying to learn some kind of a skill. You may be committing to a program like that yourself, and you're very aware that this is the end of one perspective, one experience of your life, and the opening up to new possibilities. And in the 10th house, the way others see you, your place of belonging in the world, in healthy relationship to yourself and others. There's no way that devoting yourself to the relationship with self excludes others. In fact, it does quite the opposite. It empowers your relationships with the right others, with others who are a match with you. And there's some experience that you're having that is disruptive, but has actually opened some doors. So there may be the passing of someone you cared about, the firing of a boss, somebody quit in your organization, you quit a job, you were laid off from a job. Whatever happened, it has opened a door to you. It was a mixed blessing. It was a blessing in disguise, I should say, in that the change helped you to realize that you can do whatever this was that you were doing for others. You can manifest this opportunity for yourself. And it's exciting to me to think what this could well be. These are some very powerful cards happening. And I do think you are gradually and incrementally, like so many of us, opening yourself up to higher and higher levels of information from new spheres of intelligence, parts of the galaxy that we never considered as creatures of the earth. So I'm going to pull a rest card for you to complete this, and you can see they're really jumping out. So I just wanted to be a little bit cleaner. Rest is a beautiful interruption in a world with no pause button. You will not lose at all if you pause to connect with your body and mind. You've already lost it all if you are living a fear-based life centered on scarcity. Do not fear what you are missing or losing. You are abundant. Your rest is abundant. You are more than what you produce for a capitalist system. Your worth is deep. You are safe. Thank you so much, Leo, for this reading. If it resonated for you, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Leave a comment if you feel moved to do so. I enjoy reading your comments. And until next time, namaste.